And certainly your emphasis there on military science is quite appropriate. I found it interesting, for instance, in last week's, I believe it's maybe the New York Times, to see that Sears Roebuck hired a general to head its logistics department. In fact, I believe he was the general that was responsible for the logistics in the Middle East and Somalia. We often forget that there's a very definite relationship between business and military strategy. In fact, business and military strategy are one and the same. And that's one of the reasons why the Japanese and the Orientals are very good at their economic strategy, because military science is a built-in part of their culture. And to a great extent, unlike Africans, whose warriorhood should have been transferred into business, the Japanese transferred Bushido and their warriors into the art of doing business. And they are still then at war with the Western nations. They never stopped. They just changed their tactics and hid their strategies under other guises. Ultimately, they will win the war against the West. The World War II wasn't nearly the end, ladies and gentlemen. It was only a battle. If you've read the Wall Street Journal a few weeks ago, you would recognize that that paper is already indicating that they expect, should nothing divert this course, that the Chinese economy, which is the fastest growing economy in the world today, the third largest economy in the world today, by the year 2020-25, will be larger than the United States economy and the economy of Western Europe combined. And of course, I've spoken to you on a number of occasions to try to get you to understand that our struggle is not just against European men, but our struggle is against any ethnic group that threatens to oppress us. European man is basically on his way out anyway, and we talked about that in the last session. And I've asked the question, are we to gain liberation from the Europeans, only to fall under another 1,000 years of oppressions from the Orientals? And the Orientals are going to be much more vicious than the Europeans. They don't have a liberal philosophy that you can use against them, and a constitution that you can throw at them. They don't have that liberal image that they try to protect, like the white folk that you use to tie them up with. They owe you nothing. And I've warned before about us getting too carried away talking about people of color, as if anyone who is non-white is our friend. That is a terrible, 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 terrible error. The Hispanics will be the largest minority in the United States in about 20 years. And you're going to learn what people of color are about. You're going to learn what we have been trying to teach you all the time. You're going to learn to stop trying to judge people based on your personal feelings. You see? And groups have no permanent friendships and permanent relations, as you've heard too often. They only have permanent interests. You are getting into a situation here as African Americans that Africans are in the world over. We are being isolated by other groups, by what I call the mercantile minorities. those minorities who will be owners of business and property, all of whom then will look at us who are propertyless as criminals and thieves, and who then would look at us as ones to be protected against, and will possibly all gang up against us in protecting their own mercantile and business interests. So you got to wake up talking about people of color. You must talk about only one people of color, and that's African people.